All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students, sponsored by the Ohio Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, oacac.org. And I will now turn it over to our presenter.
Thank you, Ross. Hi, everyone. My name is Jimmy Barnett. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions with Southern State Community College. I'm glad to have you here this evening, and I'm glad that we're able to do this. I thank StriveScan and OACAC for setting this up. I know it's not ideal, but it is an option, and hopefully we can share this information with students that are not only interested in Southern State, but colleges all across Ohio and the United States. So I'm going to jump right in here. So typically when I'm at a college fair and folks come up to my table, you know, the first questions I like to ask are, do you want to stay close to home? Are you moving away? And typically I get a mixed response. Generally I get the ones that, you know, I want to move away. I'm ready to experience life outside of my hometown. And that's great. You know, staying local isn't for everybody. But I will tell you one thing, I do think it is a smart choice to stay local and stay home for those first 2 years of college. And I'll jump into some details about that here in a little bit. I always share with students a little bit about myself. I was a graduate from Shawnee State University, where I graduated in 3.5 years with a bachelor's in sports management and a minor in business. I was actually unable to find a job after I completed my bachelor's degree. So I worked in a factory for about 6 months and then relocated to Columbus, Ohio, where I lived with several friends that went to Ohio State. I was then able to find a job in the field of sports, worked a couple actually. And then in January of 2016, I was actually able to move back home to my hometown of Greenfield, Ohio. And I started at Southern State as the recruiter. And I was in that position for about 4 years. And this January 2020, I was promoted to Director of Recruitment and Admissions. Through all of that journey, and I share this because, you know, I have a family member. My father is a professor at Southern State. So I could have done 2 years for free at Southern State and saved about $30,000 in tuition and fees, room and board. But rather than doing that, through my bachelor's degree and also my master's, which I got in February of 2016, I graduated, I racked up about $100,000 in student loan debt. And I share that with you, not because I want you to know my personal finances or my debt. I share that with you because it's real. I'm 28 years old. I'm from a small town like many of you maybe. And, you know, it's real. You know, that debt, you know, it sticks with me. I have to pay those back monthly. And it can alter your life and, you know, your experiences and different things like that. So I like to share with students, you know, a real life example of not a bad decision, but a decision that maybe I could have made, put more thought into, and maybe gave a smarter decision those first 2 years to save some money. So that takes me into my next question here. How many students will drop out of college after their freshman year? I ask this to students when they come up to my table. I say, you know, give me a guess. What percentage do you think? And I get 5 out of 10, 70%. It's not that high. It's actually 3 out of 10 students. 30% of students drop out after their freshman year of college. And that's typically because of, you know, they don't like it, or they can't cut it academically. And I don't mean that they're not smart enough. I mean that external factors, the outside noise, sometimes that plays a factor in their decision making. I know it did in some of my friends. At times it did in myself. So, you know, they don't get the grades and they have to go back home. Financially, they can't afford it, or, you know, we all get a little homesick. So those are just some reasons. But I think the big one to remember is, regardless, if you're in that 3 out of 10, you're in that 30%, you still rack up debt if you take out loans for that year of college, and you do have to pay that back regardless. So that takes us into the, into some of these next slides that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But before we do that, I like to explain, before I get into Southern State, I like to talk about the difference between tech schools, community college, and universities. I think one thing to consider is a technical school, great opportunities. Trades is the big thing to think here. Plumbing, electrician, welders, cosmetology, beautician, stuff like that. Good jobs, little to no debt coming out of that. Then you have community colleges like Southern State Community College. Some community colleges have multiple campuses like us. Some have one. Most of them do not have room and board. They're, for a better lack of words, they're more affordable when it comes to tuition and fees for the most part. And they offer associate degrees, which are 2-year degrees and 1-year certificates. And then you have colleges. They're a little more expensive than your community college. They may offer associate degrees, but most of them offer 4-year bachelor's degrees, and they also have room and board. And then you have your universities, like Ohio State, your bigger universities. I'm personally a Buckeyes fan. I would have loved to go to Ohio State, but it is expensive. Your bigger schools do cost a little more, but they offer, bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. Tons of options at your universities, tons of experiences to be had, great opportunities for students, but those are your 4 options. So, after explaining that, that takes me to this crossroads, your road to a degree. You're probably thinking to yourself right now, at least when students come to my table, I hope at this point they're thinking, which way do I want to go? Most of you are probably 17 or 18 years old, maybe 19. And you're at that crossroads in your life where you want to know, should I go to a 2-year and save some money? Should I just, go right away to a 4-year and start down that path? Or should I just go straight into the workforce, take a year off, or just go into the workforce and not go to college? And, all of those are options. It just depends on what your heart's set on. I tell students this crossroads is where I really want you to start thinking about Southern State Community College for those first 2 years, because we are not the end for students. We want to be the beginning to your end. We want to be that beginning. We want to be that ground that you start on, and then you're able to leap into a 4-year school, transfer out. So that's what I'm going to get into with these next slides. I'm going to talk about why I think community college is worth it. And the biggest reason of all, your wallet doesn't have to be empty. On average, compared to a 4-year in-state public college, a student saves in tuition and fees about $6,570 per year. On average, compared to a 4-year out-of-state public college, a student saves in tuition and fees $22,630 per year. And on average, compared to a 4-year private college, a student saves in tuition and fees $32,170 per year. So that gives you a visual. We all can think of terms of money. That gives you a visual of what you could save if you chose community college. Why should I pay less for tuition? Well, the biggest thing I think students forget is no matter where you go to college, for the most part, those first 2 years, you will take some major core courses for your major, but generally they're spent fulfilling general education requirements such as English, math, your social sciences, history, maybe Western Civ. It just depends. So why not spend those first 2 years at a community college like Southern State, save some money, and then transfer out? We have a degree that is specific to gen eds. It's mostly gen eds with some electives in the Associate of Arts or Science, and you can then transfer out and finish your degree that you want. Even if we don't have your degree, this degree will fulfill 2 years of your 4-year experience. So you could save a lot of money. And you can also pay as you go if that's an option. Maybe you want to work while you go. And you can save money that extends into your future plans. How cool would it be to be 20 years old and own your own car, or maybe put a down payment on a home at 20 years old? Because it happens, guys. We have students that are able to do this because they choose Southern State Community College. Staying home isn't always a bad thing. I'm not here to talk you out of going to the 4-year of your dreams, because I'll be honest, it can be a lot of fun. Residence hall life can be a ton of fun. Dorms can be a ton of fun. Some schools have better food than others. We always joke about that, me and my friends. But it can also be expensive. There are also fees that are associated with it. Fees, even though you may not use some of the things you're being charged for, you would still be charged some fees possibly. So, just keep those things in mind. Do I want to pay for residence all those first 2 years to do gen eds and, or could I save some money at Southern State and then transfer to my 4-year school? You have time to think about what you want. And this is probably, outside of the financial aspect of it, this is a big one because let's be honest, you're 17 or 18 years old. You may know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You may tell yourself that, but I promise you, when I was 18 years old, if you would have asked me, hey, Jimmy, when you're 28 years old, do you think you'll be working at Southern State as the Director of Recruitment and Admissions, talking to all of us today, going out to high schools, visiting with students, giving campus tours, going through admissions applications, I would have told you, heck no, you're crazy, because that wasn't on my radar. I would have thought, I'll be a high school athletic director. Unfortunately, my cards played out a little differently, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually doing something that I have a passion for because my mind changed, my thought process changed, my goals changed. And I think that's something to keep in mind. Community college, you have time to think about what you want to do. You can spend those first 2 years working on general education requirements, getting that transfer agreement that we have with a 4-year institution done, and then transferring on to that 4-year. Public to public transfer process in Ohio, it's almost seamless today. It's a lot easier than it was 10, 15 years ago, and it's getting easier as the years go on because we in the higher education world work hard to make sure those agreements are seamless. Students on average change their major about 3 times. When I ask students this when I come to my table, they're like, wow, really? I kind of, but then they think about it, well, I can see that, I have a family member that changed her major from nursing to education to marketing, and now she's working on a second bachelor's degree in education. It really just depends on, your situation and what you're surrounded by and your mind. I mean, your mind changes, psychologically, at 18 years old, your brain's not fully developed, to where you're going to be making those decisions about what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's not for everybody, but most of us don't know. It wasn't until I was 27 years old that I really realized higher education is what I want to do. It's where I want to spend my career. So if you take anything from today, take time to think about what you want to do and consider Southern State. So now I'm going to jump into specifics about Southern State Community College. We have a 17-to-1 student-teacher ratio. So when you're in a classroom in high school, you're probably with 15 to 20 people. At Southern State, you would have anywhere from probably 10 to 20 in a class and you're one faculty member. We have approximately 25 to 2,700 students. That's across 3 campuses in Mount Orab, Hillsborough, and Washington Courthouse. But we also have students that are doing College Credit Plus. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're a CCP student with Southern State. And we offer those courses at high school locations where we have adjunct faculty or faculty teaching those courses at the high school. And that's included in that 2,700. So we're not a huge institution. We're small, but we're quality. And it's a great, affordable education at a quality cost. We offer free tutoring and career and counseling services are available to you. Maybe you need help with a resume. Maybe you need help with a job search or an internship. Or maybe you need to talk to somebody about what's going on at home. That is all free to you as a student. You can get help tutoring. We have online labs, drop-in labs, face-to-face. Take advantage of those free options. One cool thing about Southern State is we have day, evening, and online programs. Our programs are specific to campus, so we don't offer every program, which I'm going to jump into those here shortly, on every campus, but we do have several programs. These are some pictures of our campuses. Brown County is actually, when you see me in the screen there, that's what's behind me is the Brown County campus. It is off 32 near Cincinnati. It's in Mount Orab. It's our newest campus. It was built in 2015, I believe. Beautiful campus, 2 stories, not very big, but not real small. We have some quality folks that work there and some quality educators there and some great students. The Fayette campus there in Washington Courthouse, that is off 35 like you're going to Dayton, or 62 coming from Hillsborough. Again, a small campus. We offer a few different programs there. You can also do your Associate of Arts and Science there. Again, great faculty, staff, and students on that campus. And then the Central campus. This is where my office is located. It's also where our financial aid records, Student services is mostly located here, but I don't want to take away from the other campuses because we do have some staff and support on other campuses. But the majority of our staff is housed at the Central Campus in Hillsborough. That is where we have the Edward K. Daniels Auditorium. We have an awesome theater program. We put on productions yearly. I think we do one a semester. They do a great job. If theater is something that you're interested in, you can definitely participate and take some courses in that area and transfer out after you're done and finish a bachelor's in theater or whatever. The Patriot Center is where you'll graduate. That's our gymnasium. And that is where you would graduate at the end of your time at Southern State. So that's something we always take pride in and look forward to at the end, is seeing the students that we've helped work through things. They've worked through it. They've worked hard. We look forward to graduation. How to apply? We don't have an application fee. It's 100% free. So even if you're unsure about Southern State, apply. Go to our website at sscc.edu, apply online. You can click on first-time student. If you're a CCP student at another school, you would be a transfer student. If you're a CCP student with us, but you took this spring, which is January coming up, off, you would be a returning student. But if you've never done anything with Southern State, you would be a first-time student. That application might take 10 to 20 minutes to complete. We're an open enrollment institution, so we have kind of like a rolling deadline. So say you graduate in May and you're unsure about college, but then June, July rolls around and you think, hey, I think I'm going to give Southern State a shot. Well, you can apply. You can still do your FAFSA. We can help get you started in August when the fall semester begins. I don't suggest waiting until the last minute because, that can create some problems that are, unforeseen circumstances, things like that, and kind of hold up maybe your financial aid or, you getting into the classes you want because they're full. So I don't recommend that, but it is an option. One cool thing about college, pretty much wherever you go, is we don't have Friday classes. Well, not where we don't have Friday classes, but the cool thing about college is a lot of times you can balance your schedule on Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays. A lot of times students with clinicals or internships, they may have stuff on Fridays, but for the most part, that's a staff meeting day, faculty meeting day. But students are also allowed on campus generally. Right now we are closed for appointments only on Fridays, but generally we don't have classes on Friday. If you didn't do too hot on the ACT or SAT, no worries, we don't require it. You can take a free placement assessment, that is the AccuPlacer. It just helps us see where you're at in regards to college math and college English. If you did good on the ACT, if you got a 22 in math and an 18 in English, you can actually waive that AccuPlacer placement assessment. So that's a plus. Just send your transcripts over after you apply to admissions@sscc.edu, and you will hear from our admissions assistant, Lori Belitho. She's awesome. She will take care of you and help you get the things you need to get done in place prior to moving on to the next step in the admissions process. So another visual, our tuition comparison. $4,826 is Southern State's. I tell students after talking with financial aid, estimate about $2,050 for books and fees, and that'll put you up to roughly $7,000 a year for tuition and books and fees at Southern State. We don't have any room and board, so think about that. $7,000 a year, 1-year certificates or 2-year degrees. If you had to take out all student loans, you would be looking at roughly $14,000 to $15,000 in student loan debt. Your average 4-year university in Ohio is $10,822. That doesn't include books and fees, but it also does not include room and board. So if we add the $2,050, that gets you up to around $13,000, but then you have to add room and board. In Ohio, I've seen it range from $16,500 to $30,000. It really just depends on where you go as far as a public institution, but that's per year. Again, let's just take $20,000 for example. Per year, $20,000. That's $80,000 after a 4-year degree. But if you go to Southern State for the first 2 years and you had to take out all loans, that's $14,000, and then you have 2 years of $20,000 left. Think about that. That's $34,000 compared to $80,000 if you spend 4 years at a 4-year public institution. Again, not trying to steer you away from a 4-year, but just kind of explaining those cost savings. Something I wish I would have read more into or talked to someone about before I chose where I was going to go to school. So these are the programs we offer as far as associate's degrees. One thing that's cool about Southern State is the Associate of Arts or the Associate of Science. These are what we call our transfer degrees because these are gen eds. I mentioned math, science, English, social sciences, but students can also take a concentration. So if you know you want to go to a four-year institution ultimately and be a math teacher, you would probably do the Associate of Science with a concentration in mathematics. Or if you wanted to be a health, physical education, and fitness major at your four-year, you would probably do an Associate of Arts with a concentration in health, physical education, and fitness. It really just depends, but those are some of the options we offer. You do not have to select a concentration if you don't choose. We offer some Associate of Applied Business programs in accounting, business management, and business management with a focus in real estate broker. So with that one, you would be able to sit for the Ohio Real Estate Salesperson exam and be a real estate agent. The majority of our degrees fall under the Associate of Applied Science. We offer our computer IT degree was recently modified for computer technology with 4 different concentrations in networking, cybersecurity, programming, or robotics. We offer a degree in early childhood education. So again, this is a 2-year degree. So this is for a preschool teacher, a teacher's aide, a teacher's assistant. We offer some degrees in engineering and electromechanical engineering, engineering aviation maintenance. You jump down there, we offer another engineering degree in mechanical design technology. So this is more using CAD, using the computer. Think of architecture, designing things. So those are pretty cool degrees. We offer a degree in human and social services and also a degree in human and social services with a focus in chemical dependency counseling. We also offer a degree in law enforcement, or you can do law enforcement and the basic peace officer training academy and become a police officer. If you don't want to do both or just want to do one or the other, you can do that. You can do the Peace Officer Academy all by itself or law enforcement all by itself. We also offer some health science programs, which are separate admission at Southern State, and medical assisting and nursing. Nursing and medical assisting, some classes I tell students to take are high school chemistry, high school biology, and high school algebra. Get a C or higher in those and have those complete prior to your senior year. That really helps in the application process for those programs. To find those applications for those programs, visit our website, sscc.edu. Go to those programs and degree pages, select the degree medical assisting or nursing, and then go to those pages and you'll be able to actually find the admission pathways for those programs, and it'll outline the degree and when it needs to be submitted. I mentioned one-year certificates. We have a few of those. We have one in accounting. These are 2 engineering ones. We have aviation, general and airframe, and aviation power plant. If you like working on jets, big engines, working on aircrafts, this is something that may be of interest to you. These are very in-demand jobs and good paying jobs that students can get with these degrees or these certificates. We have some health science, again, medical assistant technology, phlebotomy, and practical nursing, all separate admission. So again, tune into those pages on the sscc.edu website. You'll be able to find those on the certificates page. And then we have some less than 1-year certificates. Microsoft Office Specialist. This is probably more for someone that's been in the workforce, maybe in an office setting and wants to get, a refresher on Word, processing, PowerPoint, Excel. But then there's the real estate. So I mentioned the real estate broker program. That's an associate degree. This is actually just the 3 required real estate classes that they're offered online that you need to sit for the Ohio State Salesperson exam. So that's pretty cool that we offer that. I have actually done that program. My wife has done that program. It's a good program. And then you're able to sit for the Ohio Real Estate Salesperson exam and either do that full time or maybe have a supplemental income. So that kind of wraps it up for our degrees that we offer. I'm going to jump into some on-site bachelor degree programs. These are actually programs that, say you don't want to go away to a 4-year, these are programs that we offer on our campuses or online. You pay their tuition the last 2 years. So the first 2, you pay ours and you do our program. The next 2, you do this institution's program on our campuses or online. One of the most, that I see is the Lindsey Wilson Human Services and Counseling. We have a lot of students that do that. We have some students that do the online programs through Lindsey Wilson. Miami University is actually a cool one. You do electromechanical engineering with us at Southern State, and then you spend those next 2 years doing distance learning through Miami University at our Hillsborough campus. And then you ultimately graduate with a diploma from Miami University in electromechanical engineering. You do pay their tuition, but you don't have to pay that room and board, which can be costly. And then we have some through Ohio Christian, business management, disaster management, psychology, There's several there. So those are some options for you as well. So don't count us out as far as a 4-year degree, because you can still stay local and do those. Transferring has become such a big part of the college process now. Students, it's valuable to know what your options are when it comes to transferring. These are some of the institutions that we transfer to. UC, Ohio Christian, Wilmington, Miami, Wright State, public to public in Ohio, Ohio State. Like I said, it's almost seamless. But we also transfer to private schools like Wilmington College and Ohio Christian, and some out-of-state schools like Moorhead State University and Northern Kentucky University. So, make sure that if you're going to come to Southern State, you let your advisor know that, hey, I want to schedule classes here, but I want to make sure they transfer to my 4-year school that I'm planning on going to. And our academic advisor team, they're great. They'll help you out with that. They'll make sure you're taking quality classes that are going to transfer and help you finish that 4-year degree. Some scholarship options. One of the biggest ones is the Superstart Scholarship. If you're a high school senior and you're graduating this May 2021, as long as you go onto our website, sscc.edu, type in Superstart in the search bar, print off that application and mail it in with a high school transcript. And as long as you have a 2.75 GPA and you do that by May 1st, you're eligible for 6 free credit hours, which generally equates to about 2 courses this summer. Regardless if you plan on staying with us or not, after that, you can still transfer those credits out, or you could maybe stay with us, or maybe you're not sure about college. This is a good way to try it for free. The only cost here is books and fees. You do have to pay for books and fees. So keep that in mind. There may be some financial aid options available, so it's always good to consult with our financial aid team. If you're a CCP student with us, we have, if you're a 2021 grad and you do CCP with SSCC, it does have to be with SSCC. Apply for the CCP scholarship. Again, go to our website, sscc.edu. In the search bar, type in CCP scholarship, print it off, and mail it in with the required documentation prior to August 1st. We have a ton of other scholarships available on our portal. If you type in online scholarship application on our website, it'll take you to our portal, and basically you'll do everything the portal asks. Submit your letters of recommendation, submit your transcripts, any documents they ask for. Make sure you complete it, and then it'll kick you into every scholarship you're eligible for at Southern State. Please do that prior to March 31st. This is a great option, guys. There's a lot of money out there, and it's free. Take advantage of scholarships. No matter where you go to college, scholarships can save you money. That is pretty much all I have today. Again, this is a little different than talking face-to-face, but I'm very thankful for this opportunity, being able to present this. My contact information is here. Again, I'm Jimmy Barnett, Director of Recruitment and Admissions. You can reach me via email at jbarnett11@sscc.edu. You can also visit us at www.sscc.edu, or you can give me a call at extension 2677. I thank you for your time. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Ross to close things out. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jimmy, and thank you all for joining us this evening. When you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd love any feedback that you can provide. Remember that this is just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at oacac.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to view this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recording at that same link, oacac.org. Thank you all and have a great evening.